Okay, just imagine waking up as a top corporate executive to find out you have not one, not two, but literally 391 outstanding legal warrants for your arrest. No way, right? Well, that was the harsh reality for Mohammed Russell and Shamua Nazrin in January 2026 when detectives showed up at their door in Don Mondi. So let's dive right into this explainer and unpack exactly how the architects of one of the fastest-growing companies in all of South Asia found themselves at the very center of such a staggering legal collapse.
Today, we're looking at the dramatic rise and fall of Evaly. They were a massively popular Bangladeshi e-commerce platform that ultimately left behind billions in debt and a total trail of legal chaos. Really, this is a story of incredible overnight success, entirely missed warning signs, and a financial black hole that devastated millions of everyday consumers.
Section 1. Rapid Growth and Supplier Credit. Building an Empire on Discounts.
So, to understand how things got to the point of hundreds of arrest warrants, we really have to rewind back to December 2018. That's when Evaly first launched its aggressive takeover of the market. But, before we get too deep into the financial weeds, let's quickly define a term we're going to be using a lot today. A crore is a South Asian unit of measurement, and it's equal to 10 million. So when we're talking about hundreds of crores, we are talking about absolutely massive, market-disrupting amounts of money. Keep that scale in mind. Because, man, the sheer velocity of Evaly's growth was just astounding. In under 3 years, they amassed a staggering 4.4 million registered customers. They pulled this off by offering these unbelievable 30 to 50% discounts on big-ticket items. We're talking motorbikes, home appliances, high-end electronics, the whole shebang. They even handed out free gifts just for registering.
Now you might be wondering, how on earth was this mathematically possible? Well, the crucial point here is that Evaly didn't fund this with their own capital. Their model was basically this: promise massive discounts, take advance cash payments from customers, and then intentionally delay the actual delivery by 7 to 45 days. In the meantime, they'd acquire the goods from major brands on revolving supplier credit and then essentially use the fresh cash from new customers to pay off their old liabilities. Regulators and journalists would later point out that this structure deeply resembled a Ponzi scheme.
All right, moving on to Section 2. Missed Early Warning Signs. Red Flags in 2020.
By August 2020, the Bangladesh Financial Intelligence Unit, that's the central agency responsible for investigating suspicious financial transactions, they stepped in. Thanks to a growing pile of complaints about delivery defaults, the BFIU temporarily froze Evaly's bank accounts. But here is the tragic irony of it all. About a month later, they just reopened the accounts. Because no regulator permanently halted the business model, this move actually restored public confidence. Customers came rushing back with even greater financial exposure. Fast forward a bit to January 2021, and a Home Ministry investigation uncovered evidence of at least 8 types of irregularities. Evaly was systematically failing to deliver products on time, ignoring their customers, refusing to process refunds, and, get this, forcing people to accept this internal digital e-balance credit instead of the actual cash refunds they were legally owed. So the authorities were well aware of these operational failures months before the ultimate collapse.
Which brings us to Section 3. Exposing the Financial Hole. The Central Bank Intervention.
So, in June 2021, a Bangladesh bank inspection report goes public. And wow, it completely exposed the grim reality of Evaly's corporate health. On one side, Evaly had a mere 65 crore taka in assets. But stacked up against that, a towering mountain of 404 crore taka in liabilities owed to customers and merchants. That financial black hole was now undeniable to anyone paying attention.
Actually, scratch that. It gets even worse. When the Commerce Ministry formally asked Evaly how it intended to clear all these debts, the company straight up disclosed that their actual liabilities were even higher than the central bank's estimate. They admitted to owing a combined 517 crore taka to customers and merchants. And with literally zero external investors stepping forward to rescue them, there was no credible plan to ever pay that back.
As you'd expect, the immediate fallout was severe. Major financial institutions, we're talking Dhaka Bank, BRAC Bank, and Bank Asia, they instantly suspended all debit and credit card transactions with Evaly. Even massive mobile payment gateways like bKash temporarily halted their services. The company's cash flow was effectively being choked off right then and there.
Section 4. Arrest and Company Collapse, September 2021. Okay, to truly grasp the gravity of this crackdown, you need to know about RAB, the Rapid Action Battalion. They're an elite anti-crime and anti-terrorism unit of the Bangladesh police,
And on the night of September 15th, a deeply frustrated customer named R.F. Baker filed a police case against Evaly's founders for fraud and embezzlement. Why? Because he had literally been shouted out of their office when he went in demanding a refund.
The very next day, September 16, 2021, RAB authorities raided the founder's residence in Mohammedpur. Both CEO Mohammed Russell and chairperson Shamima Nazrin were taken into custody. And get this, at the time of their arrest, it was reported that Evaly had an astonishing, mind-boggling liability of nearly 1,000 crore taka. Exactly 1 month later, on October 16th, Evaly just quietly announced via a Facebook post that it was temporarily shutting down its website and app. Just like that, millions of customers and thousands of suppliers were left completely in the dark, with absolutely no access to their accounts or their hard-earned money.
Section 5. Years of legal limbo. Bails, boards, and bounced checks.
So the High Court appoints a new board to figure out if the company could even be liquidated, noting, by the way, that intangible assets like a customer database don't easily convert to cash under local law. Meanwhile, the founders are busy navigating the justice system. Shamima Nazrin managed to secure bail in April 2022 and Mohammed Russell in December 2022. But as they walked free, new lawsuits were just constantly piling up from everyday citizens. This led to fresh warrants in 2024 and finally that dramatic rearrest we talked about in January 2026.
But hey, amidst all these corporate dates and legal maneuvers, we absolutely have to remember the human cost here. Let's just look at one specific example. A customer named MD Tanvir Hossain. He paid 2.45 lakh taka in advance for a motorbike. When it wasn't delivered, Evaly issued him a refund check. But guess what? That check bounced due to insufficient funds. Cases exactly like this one, alongside serious Digital Security Act charges from people who lost millions, really represent the everyday, on-the-ground devastation caused by this platform's collapse.
Which brings us right back to where we started, January 2026. The founders are back in custody, staring down a mountain of 391 outstanding warrants across multiple police stations. But a massive, really haunting question remains completely unresolved. With the company defunct and the founders facing years tied up in court, what actually happens to the millions of customers and merchants who are still, to this very day, waiting for their money? It is a deeply sobering reminder of the true cost of unchecked corporate growth, isn't it?